Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Blaze Sports' coverage of college sports. It is a beautiful afternoon in Tempe, Arizona. We're live from Farrington Stadium, home of the Sun Devils and the Kajikawa Classic. Start of day 4. It's the 2-2 Northwestern Wildcats taking on the 2-1 Memphis Tigers. Both teams coming off of crushing defeats yesterday to Arizona State and Texas State, respectively. And it's going to be a great one. We'll be with you for it all. With me is Ian King. But for now, the national anthem. Just moments away from first pitch at Farrington Stadium. If you're just joining us, I'm your host, Cash Money Versailles. With me, Ian King. It's the 2-2 Wildcats from Northwestern taking on the 2-1 Memphis Tigers. How are you doing today, Ian?
Doing great, Cash. Pleasure to be out here in Farrington Stadium in beautiful Tempe. I mean, I was saying this a lot of my broadcasts on Friday, but when you got teams like Northwestern, Toledo, Memphis have all been up here for the Kajikawa Classic, what better place to be in early February playing some season opening softball than beautiful Tempe, Arizona? I believe the game is going to open up today at about 70 degrees, so couldn't ask for much more.
Absolutely. Way better than the hundreds, 110s we'll be seeing in the next coming months. But these two teams they've been looking pretty good so far in the Kajikawa Classic. Of course, I mentioned that Northwestern entering 2-2. They're coming off of an 8-0 loss, though, to Arizona State yesterday. The game ended in only 6 innings, and it's typically a 7-inning game in softball. And this Northwestern squad only recorded 2 hits against Arizona State's Kenzie Brown. They struck out 12 times. Every batter struck out at least once. The only hits were recorded by the second baseman, Grace Nito, and the catcher, Emma Ray. Now, of course, playing catcher today will still be Emma Ray, but another catcher in the lineup, seeing her for the first time this year, would be Abby Harvey, batting in the 8th spot. Meanwhile, Memphis, coming off their first loss of the Kajikawa Classic and the season, 8-13 in a thriller against Texas State. The offense went 11 of 26, including 2 extra base hits, a home run, one of them. And the team struck out 3 times. They were headlined by designated hitter Taniya Brown and center fielder Kenzie Semien. Both went 2 for 4 with extra base hits and 3 RBIs. As we are underway from Farrington, on the mound, in the circle, got to get used to that. It's Riley Duger. First pitch, high and away, ball 1, and we are underway from Farrington. As batting is Grace Nito, the second baseman for Northwestern. That one low. So starting off with 2 out of the zone pitches.
As you'd want from any batting order, but Memphis's and Northwestern's top 3 in the batting order, all hitting super strong to start off the season. Nito at a .500.
That one outside, a quick 3-0 start. And you mentioned the fast start that the top 3 is off to, including Nieto, of course, the .500 average. And that one right down the middle on the 3-0. She'll take it for strike 1. But, of course, that 1,500 OPS, 1 home run, 5 RBIs, and she's done a great job. Only 1 strikeout so far. That one high for ball 4, and it is a leadoff walk for Grace Nito to put a runner on. And next up, it's Kelsey Nader starting out in right fielder. In right field.
That's the 3rd time that Nito has been walked so far this season. Only 4 games, Northwestern, it's 4 games into this season going into their 5th. 3 walks through 5 games.
Stepping in now is Kelsey Nader, the right fielder. Bunt, pulls it back. Almost gets the back pick on Grace Nito. She is safe.
something really impressive about this Northwestern team, the more you watch them, is their base running. Their game against Toledo that I was here for calling on Friday, and especially who you have next in the batting order for Northwestern, Kaylee Avisado, ended up leading the Big Ten in stolen bases last year with 22. And the Northwestern front, you can already see that first up from the batting order, Nito is continuing to signal like she's going to end up making a run for second base. You have Nader up at the plate currently signaling bunt with both attempted pitches so far, so something to keep an eye on if you're Memphis.
That one up and away in the zone, catches it, catches the corner for strike number 2. And already a 1-2 count as Duger's looking for strikeout number 6 of the Kajikawa Classic. This one laced into right field, down for a base hit. They're sending Nito for third, and they'll have runners in scoring position. A leadoff walk followed by a double. The walk was the first of the year for Dugar. And just like that, with Avisado coming to the plate, now 2 in scoring position.
Great communication there from Northwestern. Nito starts making a run to third right after that ball gets picked up by the right fielder from Memphis. And then at the same time, Nader ends up making her run to second. Once she sees that that ball is in the air going to third towards Nito, she knows she's got all the pay dirt in front of her.
Paris Brianese, the right fielder, threw that in to the third baseman, Aubrey Williams. First pitch, this one lined to right, and that one will be off the wall. Throw is in, not in time. It is a 2 RBI double. And Northwestern off to a hot start already in their first 3 at-bats. They've outscored their entire team and out-hit their entire team from yesterday.
Now batting number 17, Emma Ray.
Emma Ray coming to the plate now. Entering this one, batting .364 with a 1364 OPS, 2 solo bombs, as Memphis quickly taking a mound visit, and things have not gotten off to the start that Memphis has looked for. Of course, against Texas State yesterday, they had a very rough start, and they thought that they'd be able to get back with Riley Duger. 1-0 record so far, a 0 ERA, a .33 whip, entered with 5 Ks, 0 walks, and already has allowed 2 hits, a walk, 2 runs. It's looking quite bleak to start off for the Tigers.
Yeah, like you said, not the start that they want at all, especially with that aforementioned Northwestern top 3. Now that they've cycled their way out there, we got catcher Emma Ray coming up to bat at the 4th slot in the batting order for Northwestern, so it's just up to see how Duger can recover. It's never about how you start, it's about how you finish.
Absolutely.
Ray coming up to the bat now. Important to know she is in her junior season now, but was an all Big Ten freshman, had 22 RBIs last season for the Wildcats. Now coming up to the plate, you can never count out anyone in this Northwestern batting order.
Something that has been a little bit worrying. You know, when I saw this, I was quite shocked that Dugar was playing so as well as she had when she's got a career record of 12-44, an ERA north of 6, 146 strikeouts to 263 walks over her career. She is coming off of a 7-12 year with a 4.59 ERA, 64 strikeouts, 79 walks. Needs to get the walks down. But, of course, now with a runner on second and 2 runs already in, need to quickly get some damage control. This one, a high fly ball to left. It'll be in foul territory and caught in left. Tagging up from second is Avisado. Ray, a sac fly to left, will advance the runner. And in left, catching that one was Neely Taylor, the redshirt junior.
Great way to slow down the momentum here if you're Memphis.
Kansas Robinson up now. A 100 average. Her sole base hit was a solo home run.
Robinson not off to the best start this year. Last season, she had 41 RBIs, 13 of those hits that she had for doubles.
That one outside for ball 1. Robinson also has struck out 4 times, has walked twice, but looking to drive in the runner from third. Pitch number 2 of the AB. Outside, and that is called ball 2. Two-0 pitch. Grounder to second. Throwing it home. Not in time. It is a single for an RBI. And Northwestern extends that lead to 3-0 in the top of the first. Now with a runner on first as they bring up Isabel Taniya.
That is the dangerous and decisive base running of not only Northwestern, but Avisado. There's a reason that she had 22 stolen bases last season. All Big Ten freshmen now going into her sophomore year. Everything you could ask for from a player, especially such a young player.
First pitch of the 8B, right down the middle for strike 1. At least it looks right down the middle from where we're standing, just right behind of home plate. If you're just joining us on Blaze Radio, 3-0, top of the first, Northwestern, Memphis. This one will go foul just in time for Northwestern as the third baseman, Aubrey Williams.
She was getting ready to sling that out to first. That would have honestly been runner out for Northwestern, so pretty lucky break for Taniya.
Probably. 0-2. High pitch. Struck out swinging. The first K of the game, and for either team, but of course for Riley Dugar, that's her 6th strikeout so far, the Kajikawa Classic, and now it's True Medina, the freshman switch hitter, throws from that right side as she steps into the box. She'll be batting from the left side against the right-handed pitcher, Dugar. That one outside for ball 1. And True Medina for this team, she batted over 400 over the course of her 4 years at Glenbard North High School in Carroll Stream, Illinois. But of course, her senior was the best, 571 with 16 home runs. She homered in each of her first 8 games of that season.
Wow, impressive. We had the same stat written down on our stat sheet, so I'm glad you got to that before me.
I know your color, so I should probably start leaving that stuff to you.
No worries at all.
1-1 pitch, taken for strike number 2. And now a 1-2 count, just 1 strike away from ending this pretty porous start for Memphis. Hoping to get to Davis, Taylor, and Clark. Swung on, fouled off, back. It'll remain a 1-2 count.
Something so impressive about this Northwestern team that I've noticed over the last few days is that some of their strongest hitters like Medina, like Nito, not only are they Northwestern's current strongest batters, but also some of their strongest on defense, coming in left field and at third base.
This one, line to right, it'll get down, throwing it in. Now runners on the corners with 2 outs. And we'll get to see Abby Harvey come up to the plate at the 8-hole for the first time this season. The senior batting at the DH has not recorded an at-bat so far this season.
I think if you're Harvey, this is a very comfortable situation to come in and make your first at-bat of the season. Runners on first and third. You're already up 3, top of the first. Not a whole lot of pressure on your shoulders to come in, and I'm sure the Northwestern coaches aren't expecting a lot on your first at-bat, but anything helps.
First pitch of the new year for Abby Harvey is taken low. It's an early 1-0 start. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. That one inside, steal for second base. It's going to get away from the second baseman, so the error will drive in a run. Kansas Robinson making her way to the plate thanks to the True Medina steal.
decisive, and communicative base running. It doesn't get any better than this in softball and baseball. You have to be able to make those decisions within a split second, and every single scenario so far for Northwestern has paid off.
Here comes the 1-1. That one up and in for ball 2. And that error, hopefully not going to cost the team too much, but very well could. The 2-1 is inside. First strike 2. We're even up to a piece in the count. And the error on the last play was Ariel Davis, the leadoff hitter, second base redshirt sophomore. Sort of surprised that she made that mistake. She's been really heralded for her defensive abilities as that one's fouled off along the first base side.
If you're Duger, all your mind is set on here is retiring Harvey, getting out of this top of the first, and letting the Memphis batting order come in and take a little bit of the pressure off of your shoulders, because this is not a great start at all for the Tigers.
This one fouled off. No catch on the foul tip from the catcher, Jasmine Mack. It'll remain 2-2, so a great job fighting for Abby Harvey in her first AB of 2026. 2-2 pitch. Low. They're not going to steal. Almost decided to go. Of course, it was a little bit of a bobble on the transfer from the catcher, Jasmine Mack. But True Medina decides to halt. And now a full count. Duger on Harvey. The payoff pitch. Taken inside. It's ball 4. A second walk of the inning for Duger, who entered with 0 walks on the season. And the first baseman, Maya Clark, heading over to give some encouragement to her pitcher in the circle.
I mean, Harvey's first at-bat of the season, but last season, coming in from Illinois Wesleyan as a grad student, had a .426 batting average and 73 RBIs. So whether it's a walk or a foul or a hit, you never want to put a ball dead center in the zone for Harvey, because our first at-bat of the season could have easily impressed for the Tigers, but instead gets walked up first, and now you got runners on second and first.
First pitch inside for a ball. That next one will get up and in and hit the 9 hole, so it's back to the top of the lineup as Bridget Donahue, the senior shortstop, hit by pitch. And Duger has recorded 2 outs so far and already back to the top of the lineup. Another
conversation going on in the circle here for Memphis. Do the Tigers contemplate taking out Duger? It does not appear so.
Yesterday, it was only 1 innings pitched for Taylor Eaton, who allowed 5 earned runs on 3 hits and 3 walks in 1 innings pitched against Texas State. So things certainly not looking great for the Tiger pitching staff. That one up and in for strike 1.
Grace Nito now back up to bat. Not enough you can say about Nito and her hitting ability. Something about this Northwestern squad is year by year they have come together, and they haven't bridged apart as a squad. Instead, they come together. They work more as one. I mean, last season, most of these players for Northwestern started over 50 games, excluding obviously Harvey, the transfer in from Illinois Wesleyan, Taniya, who's coming into her junior season, and a lot of these sophomores like Avery Garden, who started just 34 last year. Aside from that, everybody in the Wildcat starting lineup started 50 or more games last season. So you can definitely see how they come together as a unit.
0-2 pitch, grounded foul. And the pitcher that is in, it's a little bit difficult to see from here, but they did end up going to a relief pitcher about 20-some-odd pitches ago. Avery Stutz in the circle now. She's the one who's collected the 2 outs. Has allowed 1 hit, 1 run, 1 walk, 1 strikeout.
I know that's up to our eyes to usually catch, but I've noticed that usually you expect some sort of announcement from the PA about pinch running or pitcher switch, and you really don't get that at Farrington. But that's okay. It makes our job a little bit harder, and that's sometimes better at the end of the day.
The 1-2 pitch, taken low. That's going to be ball 2, evening up the count. I would like to credit my buddy next to me, Connor Aggers, for the heads-up play on the pitching change that I did not pay attention to earlier in the inning. 2-2. Low, back full. Already one walk in the inning for Avery Stutz.
Definitely can't have that here with the bases loaded. Now you're at a full count, already up 4-0 for the Wildcats, bases loaded. Nito's in a very interesting position.
Full count, payoff pitch, taken outside for ball 4, walking in a run. It's a 5-0 score in the top of the first. And that's now makes it 2 consecutive games where in the first inning alone, this pitching staff for Memphis has allowed 5 runs. And their starters in each of the last 2 games have accumulated 1 inning pitched combined.
Wow.
Things not looking good for the pitching staff in Memphis as that one's taken on the outer half of the plate for strike 1.
These balls here from Stutz keep appearing to just catch the right outside of the box. There it is again.
And that'll be a quick 0-2 count on Kelsey Nader. Of course, singled and scored her last time up.
Got a bit of a let's go Cats starting here in beautiful Farrington Stadium. The time now 10:17 on this beautiful Super Bowl Sunday.
I forgot it's the Super Bowl.
We got more important games going on right in front of our eyes.
That is a good point. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Stutz. This one fouled high, and that one will go over the net and into the third base stands. And it'll remain an 0-2 count.
Return any foul balls to the ushers. Thank you.
I do find it interesting that in softball stadiums you have to return every single ball to an usher. I was told by my fellow broadcaster on Friday, Aiden, that if you whoever returns it to the usher gets a coupon of some sort.
That one laced down the right field line, almost fair, but it'll hook foul. So all the runners who are in motion head back. It'll remain loaded and a 0-2 count for Northwestern.
Bit of a more favorable count here for Stutz, but same mindset goes that when we thought it was still the starting pitcher in for the Tigers, that your main focus here is retiring this and letting the Tigers come up to the bat.
This one, fly ball to right center. Coming in is the right fielder, Paris Briniz. They get out of it. So 5 runs on 3 hits for Northwestern to start the first. And it's a tall task in front for Memphis.
Yeah, a demoralizing near 20-minute top frame where you're already down 5-0 in a game that allows such merciless mercy rules. You definitely don't want to find yourself on a hold like this early, and it is going to be a tall task, but when you have the leadoff hitter for the Tigers, Ariel Davis, batting at a whopping 700 batting average this season, you can never count yourself out. Of course, you never want to, but with Ariel Davis coming up to the plate, looking to get the Tigers off to a strong start and put all that momentum to a halt.
Absolutely, and of course, Dugar, should Memphis not come away with the win, which it certainly doesn't look like early, but don't count him out yet. Dugar, a painfully tragic performance, 2 hits, 1 walk, 3 earned runs, and then Avery Stutz, did an all right job of slowing things down, but still allowed a hit, 2 walks, and 2 earned runs herself. It is not looking great for Memphis as we get to see, again for Northwestern for the first time this year, Emma Blay taking the circle for the Cats.
Yeah, exactly. If you're Memphis, there are 2 things that you want to focus on coming into this bottom of the first, both of which we've already mentioned, but you have your best hitter coming off to lead, and you are going up against a pitcher in her first start of the season, which if you're the Tigers, you're looking to capitalize on her both mentally and physically. get a few hits on early, maybe a few runs in early, get her out of the game, get into the bullpen, and continue to let your batting order do the speaking for you.
And you're absolutely right when you're talking about best hitter leading off. You know, one of the biggest conversations on how to set up a lineup in baseball and softball is what is the best formula? OBP, OPS, just straight average? Well, Ariel Davis has got it all. The redshirt sophomore infielder. She's starting at second base today. 700 average and a 1969 OPS. Has not struck out so far this year. Emma Blay looking to change that as we move to the bottom of the first. First pitch on the outer half of the zone. It'll catch the outside, and it'll be in for strike one to get the set or bottom of the first underway.
Something nice you see here from the Memphis batting order is that Ariel Davis so far, off of her 7 hits, 2 of them have gotten her to third base, but the hit gets drived out to right field. Thrown out to first base is Davis.
4-3 ground out to second there for Ariel Davis. And they'll send out Neely Taylor, the left fielder, stepping in from that left side, batting with a quick 1 out. The pitch, that one grounded down the third base line, and it'll go foul for strike one.
Again, early in the season, you have to let these numbers kind of even out, but Neely Taylor starting off her season with a .400 batting average.
1,100 OPS as well, 1 walk, also no strikeouts. This Memphis team does not strike out at the plate, but they also don't get them in the circle either. Prioritizing putting the ball in play and taking good pitches. If Memphis is going to pull off this comeback, to me, that's how it's got to work. It's slowing the game down and taking what they give you.
I definitely agree. Playing conservatively and letting your players by players do the talking.
6-3 ground outs, so 2 quick ground outs. This time for Neely Taylor. And quickly 2 outs for Emma Blay in her first start of the year, her first appearance of the year in the circle. And the first baseman, Maya Clark, now out there, the redshirt sophomore.
Something super strong that you notice from this Wildcats defense is third baseman and freshman phenom True Medina. The way that she's able to get those 6-3 throws, whether it's the one from the shortstop or when she gets it in her hands and is able to transition those quick ground outs over to first base, super impressive. The chemistry between Medina and the first base, Kansas Robinson.
That pitch fouled off into the Kansas bullpen, or not Kansas, because you said Kansas. The Memphis bullpen, as that one is outside.
You got a bit of purple
1.
on their uniforms. You could confuse them for fellow Big 12 opponent Kansas State.
The 1-1. Inside, check swing, still a strike. And Emma Blay almost chirping Maya Clark almost.
Great confident start for the pitcher.
I mean, if I went out there and, you know, the velocity difference that we've seen between Blay and then Duger and Stutz has been pretty different. That one, a grounder to second. 1, 2, 3, down go the Tigers. And a bad start gets even worse for Memphis as we are quickly on to the second here at Farrington Stadium. If you're just joining us, 5-0 our score. The Northwestern Wildcats taking on the Memphis Tigers. The Wildcats getting ready for their second inning of work. They've got 5 runs on 3 hits here at Farrington. I'm Cash Money Versailles, with me Ian King. And from what have you seen, Ian? What have you seen in this first inning, and what do you think needs to change, especially for Memphis?
I mean, obviously, we've seen Northwestern go through their entire batting order already. Meanwhile, Memphis only made it to, their 4th batter in the order?
They went 1, 2, 3 in the first inning.
Even worse. So, I mean, if you're Northwestern here, obviously the momentum is still on your side. Nothing was relinquished during that bottom of the first. So you come back in near the top of your batting order. You're going to come out, look to start the same exact way. It looks like Memphis is going to come back in with Stutz at pitcher, who was able to retire that top of the first, but not in the cleanest fashion. So if you're Northwestern here, you look to get the bats rolling again, coming in with Kaylee Avasado, the aggressive base runner, to lead off this top of the second for Northwestern. Memphis coming back in, hoping to kind of restart the momentum.
Due up next for Northwestern, it's Kaylee Avasado, a 2 RBI double her last time up. Emma Ray, the first one to go down, and then Kansas Robinson, 0 for 1 with an RBI. Still ended up getting on base as she grounded out to second. They decided to throw it home, could not catch Avasado.
It's interesting. We mentioned how Emma Ray is going to end up following up Avasado here. Ray, I already mentioned, is a junior but had the All Big Ten freshman honor. Meanwhile, Avasado, a current sophomore, was All Big Ten freshman last year.
First pitch of the second inning, inside for strike 2. Sorry, for strike 1. Can you tell it's early in the morning for me?
Oh, yeah.
That one just a little bit further inside, evens up the count 1-1.
Avasado, we've talked about her aggressive base running and base stealing, but it is still important to note last season ended with nearly a 350 batting average, coming in at a 348 and 57 hits, as there is another one.
Line drive to left center, gets down. Avasado will hold at first. It is a leadoff single for the center fielder. And no wonder Avasado's got such good speed playing out in center as really the head defender in the outfield. You got to have that range. You got to have that speed, and it really comes in helpful on the base paths as they quickly have a speedster on first.
There's a reason that she led the Big Ten in bases stolen, and now is 2 for 2 on the day. 2 for 2, 2 RBIs.
Low for ball 1 to start it off. Behind Avasado is Emma Ray. Entered this one batting .364 with 2 solo bombs. This one, chopper does not go far, will go foul. And what has really been beneficial for Northwestern statistically has struggled with runners in scoring position. They're only 1 for 4 so far, but they are 4 for 8 with runners on. They're doing a great job of putting runners into scoring position or driving them home from first. That one inside for ball 4. It'll be a walk. Actually,
Board had that up on a 1-1 count. Looks like it might have ended up hitting her.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be a 4-0. That's now a second hit by pitch. And they're already going to a pinch runner here.
Pinch running at first base, number 82, Grace Minarovic.
Grace Minarovic, the infielder with no class according to the sheet that we are granted to.
Interesting. The only one with no class out of both teams.
First pitch, foul tip into the glove for strike 1.
Typically, when it comes to pinch running, the Wildcats so far this season have pivoted to Dowden and Kate Renshin. So, at least in my opinion, without checking the stat box, this might end up being her first appearance of the season at pinch run.
That one fouled off. Strike 2. And I can actually pull up the stats right now.
Go for it while I talk about more about this Northwestern base running.
This is the first appearance of the year for Grace Minarovic.
You love to see it. Blagan in her first start at pitcher, and now some pinch runners getting their first experience.
That one fouled off once again the opposite side. It'll remain an 0-2 count. And, of course, don't forget about Harvey getting her first at-bat of the year, and I believe walking in her first at-bat.
Yeah, you talked earlier about how Northwestern is currently 1 for 4 with runners in scoring positions, but I think their biggest swing on offense is making big plays. Same goes for defense.
That one taken low for ball 1. That'll make the count a little bit more advantageous for Kansas Robinson, although still a pitcher's count at 1-2. 1-2. Outside for ball 2, evened it up, so it's getting a little bit away from Avery Stutz here as she's yet to collect her first out of the inning. has already walked walked one and hit the other. As that one lined to right center, it'll get down, sliding for the catch in center, and it'll be a 2 RBI double for Kansas Robinson, Avasado, and Minarvik. No wonder they threw out Minarvik, using that blazing speed to get from first all the way home, as the throw from center from Kennedy Semien not in time.
Yeah, you could actually tell when Minarvik was making her way up to second, she could see that Memphis center fielder end up bobbling that ball, sliding a little bit, instantly eyes focused on third base, guns a-blazing, and made her way over to home.
So now a runner on second. It's Kansas Robinson and Isabel Taniya. This one, fly ball to right. Under it for out number one, attempting to tag, will go back. And making the catch, it's Paris Brianese, who we've seen quite a bit defensively, the grad student out there, who's shown off some pretty good glove skills so far. I believe catching her third putout so far.
Any positive takeaway is a win at the end of the day for Memphis, down 7-0 in this top of the second, still only 1 out for the Tigers.
That one is low for ball 1. And they're just looking to prevent things from going bad to worse to absolutely catastrophic. But it's not looking too good here. They'll likely have to go to the bullpen by the end of this inning. But it's looking good there. Avery Stutz managing to get that one in the zone for strike 1, even up the count. Of course, other players that we could see out of the bullpen, it's Jericho Tate, the sophomore. Jasmine Chavez. As that one is fouled into the stands, and that'll actually go out of the park. Not necessarily the fence. I'm sure she'd like to hit it over, but you take what you can get.
Of course, Medina up at the bat now for the Wildcats, currently 1 for 1 on the day.
This one, fly ball. It'll go foul just out of arm's reach from Aubrey Williams, looking to haul in that one. And a great job battling for True Medina, who's back up to the plate, singled and scored her last time up.
Yeah, when you got Kansas Robinson, an aggressive first baseman, currently sitting at second base, hoping to add to that run count.
Up and away, ball 2. Tried to catch. Kansas Robinson stealing. And True Medina, the switch hitter, still sitting in on that left side. Her second at-bat against Stutz is a line drive to center. Going back on the track, coming back in and making the catch in center. The tag from Kansas Robinson, so that'll put a runner on third with 2 outs. As back up comes Abby Harvey, a walk in her first at-bat of the year. And the catch in center from Kennedy Semien.
Now batting number 13, Abby Harvey.
Yeah, Harvey last year with Illinois Wesleyan coming in second team All-America NAIA honors. So definitely a great addition here to this Northwestern batting front.
First pitch of the at-bat is going to get away, and that is going to drive in the 8th run of the game for Northwestern. A wild pitch will bring home Kansas Robinson for her first run.
Northwestern last season finishing 30-20-1. Interesting you don't see a tie in softball a whole lot, but I digress. 30 wins last season. Northwestern currently looking to make that a higher count than 30 this season with how strong of a performance they're going off with. 8 runs in just 2 innings so far. Still only at 2 outs, 1 more to go here for the Tigers before they can retire to the bottom of the second.
The pitch is going to catch the inner half of the zone for strike 1. The 2-1. Nobody on for Abby Harvey. That one outside for ball 3. And it's possible we could see Harvey get on for her second straight walk here in this hitter's count. Likely going to stay conservative here, let the ball come to her. The 3-1 from Stutz is lined to center, and it's caught in center by Kennedy Semien. And that'll end the inning. So 3 runs on another 2 hits for Northwestern, and a number of defensive mishaps for the Tigers as they look to search for their first hit as we move to the bottom of the second.
Yeah, the Memphis Tigers are going to come up in the batting order now with Taniya Brown after getting 1-2-3, like you said, in the bottom of the first. I mean, if you're Northwestern here, you already have enough points to cause a mercy rule once you make it to the 5th inning. Memphis needs to climb out of this hole desperately if they want to go a full 7, let alone try to come back and win this game. Northwestern so far, like you said, 8 runs off of just 5 hits. 3 RBIs for the first baseman, Kansas Robinson, 2 for the aggressive center fielder, Kaylee Avisado.
Emma Blay now moving into her second inning of work. Of course, in her first inning, didn't strike out anybody, but also didn't give up any hits. It was 3 groundouts, 1, 2, 3 went the Cats.
Yeah, very clean for Blay. I'm sure that her confidence is boasting right now in that circle alongside her teammates. Just a nice little warm-up, up 8 points going into the bottom of the second. I mean, I talked before the bottom of the first, talking about how Memphis would want to put some pressure on Blay, but all they have done is lift that off of her as Taniya Brown comes up to bat for the Tigers, looking to keep Memphis in this game for more than 5 innings.
Behind Brown will be Kennedy Semien and then Deanna Cunningham, the third, the 3 guaranteed batters, as we begin the bottom of the second at Farrington. Of course, Emma Blay, I'm expecting with this 8-0 lead, maybe try some new things out, test a few new pitches that she's wanted to work on over the offseason. But overall, stay aggressive. As that one's chopped, they're going to say it went foul. That's strike 1. An early positive start for Blay.
And yeah, great start for Blay so far to this game, and I totally agree with your point about getting her just a little bit uncomfortable, test some new things out, and try to see if she is a solid starting option for the Wildcats going forward, but also maybe getting in the relievers some minutes before you get to this 3rd, 4th, 5th inning.
This one grounded to third, and that is the 5-3. That's 4 straight groundouts for this Memphis Tigers crew, and early we're seeing that they need to be able to get under that ball and put it in the air.
Yeah, that was the strength and the speed of the turnaround from True Medina. Like I talked about earlier, Medina to Robinson, the strongest defensive front so far for the Wildcats. Kennedy Semien now coming up to bat, the strong center fielder who's made a lot of good plays on defense.
That one's in for strike 1, and continuing to just be dominant in the circle and really commanding, but she's got a tough task ahead of her. Kennedy Semien, the redshirt senior outfielder, starting in center today, .429 average, 14-13 OPS, and 5 RBIs. Of course, has nobody on base to drive in. Could drive herself in with what would be her first home run of the year. But a tall task for both sides as both the hitter and the pitcher are talented in their own ways. 1-1. That one is taken high for ball 2.
Positive takeaway here for the Tigers at the bat is that you see them pretty confident, pretty composed. They don't take unnecessary swings, and although they are still down 8-0, only have gotten to the bottom of the second.
That one, another grounded to third. It's a bobble. Does she have it in time? Yes, she does. An error that almost put the first runner on for Memphis. Saved by True Medina, and the freshman showing off that cannon of an arm she's got.
Now batting number 14, Deanna Cunningham.
She's got a solid 4 years ahead of her in Evanston, Illinois.
So already with a quick 2 up, 2 down, looking to lay down a bunt, will pull back. That one's outside as batting. It's Deanna Cunningham, the shortstop, entering this one with a 333 average, 666 OPS, 3 RBIs with 1 strikeout at the plate. This one, fly ball to right, going back and hauling it in is the right fielder, Kelsey Nader. So 1, 2, 3, down go the Cats in back-to-back innings, and things are already looking bleak for this Memphis Tigers team, as it looks like we might not make it past the 5th inning at Farrington. So I'll probably give play-by-play duties to you starting bottom of the 3rd as we move on to the top of the 3rd here in a few moments, as possibly, or they're going to keep Avery Stutz in the circle, she's done a good job of holding things down enough.
Yes, I totally agree. And I mean, you're already down 8-0. Things are looking bleak. And do you want to save this game? Yes. But I think when it comes to the Kajikawa Classic, you haven't played at home yet. You haven't really gotten those arms warmed up, the bats warmed up. We're playing in beautiful Tempe, Arizona, but you're going to have to go home and play a game in Memphis where it's going to be home turf, but you're going to be just a little bit colder, maybe a little bit stiffer. So getting all the options running here, letting all your players get comfortable, getting the right mental, super important for the Tigers, who are down big, but also super important for Northwestern to go back to Evanston with a little bit of confidence. And I guess while we got this downtime here, Stutz warming up in the circle, I believe we're going to have Bridget Donahue coming up to bat here for the Cats. Real quick, Cash, who do you got for the Super Bowl later tonight?
I'm a Chargers fan, so I'm going to have to go the Seahawks, but I'm going to use the same reason as why I thought the Chargers would beat the Patriots at Foxborough in the wild card. It would have happened if it weren't for Greg Roman.
Oh, really?
And that terrible O-line. But that New England team, they're good. They're really well coached, but they're still so young. I think that team is going to be very dangerous in these next 5 to 10 years, especially with Drake May at the helm. If he can keep playing the way he did this past year, and it didn't turn out to be a fluke, Drake the schedule May season. As that one's in for strike number 1, but I think this Seattle team, especially if they can manage to get Nick Amanawari to play, I believe he is all good to go. Yes, I think that defense for Seattle, I think it's going to be a little bit of a barn burner, but I've got the Seahawks in Santa Clara. They've already played there once this year against the Niners. Maybe they'll come up with a win there again. Who do you got?
I mean, I am a Panthers fan, and so I'm also going to root for the Seahawks, but for different reasons than you. Donahue taking the 2-2.
Because I'm going to be Sammy D, the
Sam Darnold, yes, of course.
Panthers legend.
I was so excited when they picked him up. So sad to see him go, but of course, always excited to see a former Panther flourish, because you don't see a lot of good talk come with the Panthers.
Here comes the 2-2 as that one's fouled. Of course, batting for Northwestern, it's Bridget Donahue. Was hit by a pitch in her first at bat. And we get to see the 9-1-2 hitters in this top of the 3rd. And for those of you curious at home, the mercy rule for college softball, if a team is up by 8 or more after 5 or equal innings, a head umpire could call a run-ahead rule, which would end the game 2 innings early. And right now, Northwestern up 8-0. They are the road team, so Memphis is guaranteed 5 innings. As that one goes foul into the net and into the dugout.
This is just Northwestern's 5th game, but would end up being the 3rd time they mercy ruled this season. If it goes that way, mercy ruled against Toledo on Friday, got mercy ruled by Arizona State yesterday, and today looking to get their 2nd win off of a mercy rule against Memphis.
Count still evened up 2 apiece. As that one, line drive to left, going back and gone! A home run for Bridget Donahue, the shortstop. as they extend their lead just that much more. We'd seen some get close off the wall, doubles into the gap, but that one just straight away to left for the shortstop.
Donahue with the bases clear. Important to note, last season led the Big Ten with a 1.125 OPS. Donahue, strong batter at the plate at the bottom of the order. Now you go back up to the top of the order with Grace Nito. Super strong bat coming up to try to extend what is already a 9-0 lead, top of the third.
Bridget Donahue, first home run of the year, entered this game with 3 strikeouts. Of course, got on base with the hit by pitch, then the solo bomb there. Did a great job of battling, waiting for her pitch, and it's looking increasingly evident that that is the last we'll see of Avery Stutz in the circle.
Also important to note, the last we will see, I believe, of Grace Nito, top of the order. Now comes in Tegan McHugh to take her spot at the top of the order.
Tegan McHugh, the freshman infielder, has seen limited action. 1 at bat. Did not get a hit. So we'll see her second at bat of the year, as she's been primarily used as a pinch runner. And like we see here in mercy rule situations, to just hold down the fort and get away with the win.
Yep, it's going to be important here to note, too. Stutz coming out, like you said. Now we have Jasmine Chavez coming in for the Tigers to pitch. Has gone 2.1 this season, allowed 5 hits, 3 runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts, 2.57 whip. So, like we said earlier, Memphis just getting all the arms warmed up, getting everybody comfortable, allowing most of the pitchers to end up taking some nice long tenures, whether they go good or go bad. It's bad for your confidence, but good for your mental to just end up getting in there no matter what kind of rep it is. The reps are important. And, I mean, I saw this on Friday, but once again, I believe you see the Sun Devils taking over Northwestern's dugout, just having the time of their life waiting for this game to, I guess, end as early as possible so they can take their spot over on the diamond.
And Memphis does need these pitchers to get some action. And 19-36 last year, they went 12-10 at home. A terrible 5-20 on the road, 2-6 at neutral sites. They went 5-22 in the conference. And if the more reps they can get these pitchers early, the better it'll turn out for you later in the year. There's pitch 2 of the at-bat. It'll catch the zone. First strike 1, it'll even it up. And it is Tegan McHugh leading things off, or not leading things off, but
taking the spot of the leader.
Yes. And Jasmine Chavez, of course, now in the circle. That one low and away for ball 2. And a great eye there from Tegan McHugh.
Nice to see McHugh get some reps in here with some strong bats following her. Nader, who is 1 for 2 on the day, and Avisado, who is 2 for 2 on the day, up behind McHugh.
Check swing. It's inside. It's ball 3. And like I said earlier, McHugh, 1 at bat, did not get a hit. Looking for her first base hit here, or at least to get on base for the first time this season. The 3-1, grounded foul. It'll fill up the count 3-2. As really what we're seeing a lot happen with these Memphis pitchers is they're trying too much of the stuff that'll get out of the zone. It seems like they're at a loss of command, or the command with the off-speed breaking ball pitches aren't working to their advantage. As this one to center, it'll get down in shallow center. And the freshman, Tegan McHugh, gets her first collegiate base hit for the Northwestern Wildcats.
Beautiful time to put McHugh in at the game, up 9-0 like we said, and yeah, gets her first at-bat. I'm sure that's going to build her confidence taking the home trip back to Illinois after the Kajikawa Classic is over. And now you have Kelsey Nader, like we said, strong bat, 1 for 2 on the day, coming up to follow McHugh, who made her way to first.
They're actually going to go to the bench with Ainsley Munoz, the junior infielder, taking the spot of Kelsey Nader. Munoz, we're seeing her first at-bat of the season.
Good to see Northwestern digging all the way through their treasure chest of bench players. You have a lot of seasoned veterans on the starting lineup. Get some of the younger players going. Depth, I think, is the most important thing in any sport when it comes down to it.
They will leave Kaylee Avasado at the 3-hole, but you likely don't want to take out your star center fielder.
It'll be interesting to see what Northwestern does with their batting order for the rest of the game, assuming the Tigers are going to keep their starting lineup in, keeping any hopes of some sort of comeback or resurgence alive.
Check swing on the 0-2 pitch for Ainsley Munoz. It was high and away for ball 1. So here comes the 1-2, still a pitcher's count. Swing and a miss. Just the second strikeout of the game for this Memphis pitching staff. And again, like I mentioned, this Memphis offense doesn't strike out a whole lot, but the Memphis pitching staff doesn't really get people out by way of the K either, as that's the first out of the inning. And we'll see Kaylee Avasado for the 3rd time today. Doubled and singled and scored 2 runs so far today. That one outside for ball 1.
Jasmine Mack down there at catcher for the Tigers, signaling to first base every time she gets that ball in the mitt, signaling to McHugh, who is standing at first, just threatening a throw. Doesn't want any more base running action here from the Wildcats.
Fly ball to left. That one's got no length, but getting under it, and it's an error. Couldn't get it. And it's over the head of the second baseman, so a double error. Could have had 1 out at any point there, but the left fielder, Neely Taylor, couldn't see it in the sun, and then the center fielder, Kennedy Semien, sails it over the head of the second baseman, Ariel Davis. As like I said earlier, they didn't want it to get here, but things go from bad to worse to catastrophic for the Tigers. As we'll see Emma Ray for the 3rd time today. She's 0 for 1 today. Was hit by a pitch. And I believe that ground ball, they tried to force it out at home plate to get Kaylee Avasado. They're going to try and back pick at second. Can't get a Tegan McHugh out.
We were too focused there on that double air to talk about it, but how about a 3-for-3 day for Northwestern's Kaylee Avasado, who already had a .364 batting average coming into this game, only going to bolster that number up.
That one inside for ball 3, an early 3-0 count. And Ian, I don't like to be smart like this, but she is 2 for 3.
2 for 3. Okay, my apologies.
I've been there too. I've only been paying attention to like baseball, softball for maybe only 3 years now. So that one's inside for ball 4. It's gonna load the bases. And it's not Kansas Robinson up next. They go back to the bench, and they're going to bring out a starting pitcher to take some hacks. It's Riley Grudzielanek.
This is actually going to be her second at-bat of the season. Coming in, her first one, a pop fly right near first base. Looking to make some magic happen at the plate for Grudzielanek. Definitely not the start you want for Memphis. Relief pitcher Jasmine Chavez going in on a 4-0 walk there.
Only 1 out so far. Could have had 2, of course, if not for the error. As a swing and a miss from the starting pitcher, Grudzielanek.
Grudzielanek.
Yes. You know, I tried to memorize that. That one inside. It's going to catch the zone for strike 2. So an early 0-2 count for the pitcher, Grudzielanek. There, I figured it out. So an 0-2 looking to get out number 2. Swing and a miss. And a second K for Jasmine Chavez. The inning as both batters are down by way of the K. And they're going back to the bench. It's Kate Renshin, the freshman outfielder, stepping in from that left side. It'll be her first at bat. She's coming in for Isabel Taniya.
Chavez really hoping to retire this top of the third with the bases loaded. Different Memphis pitcher was in this position in the first inning, could not get it done with 2 outs and bases loaded. Now Chavez looking to do the same.
Renshin taking her practice swings, now stepping in from the left side. First time we get to see this matchup. First pitch, top of the zone, in for strike 1. And it's looking like Chavez will likely be one of the better pitchers for this Memphis squad. As she's done a pretty good job of holding things down here. Of course, the solo bomb wasn't great.
Taking it to a 1-1. And yeah, I totally agree. Important to note, this is also Renshin's first at-bat of the season. Does have a run in through pinch running, but first at-bat of the season for Kate Renshin.
1-1 count. That one high and away. Almost looked like a pitch out, as that'll move it into a hitter's count. Two, 1. Low and away. It's going to get away from the catcher, Mack, for ball 3.
Very favorable count here for Renshin at her first at-bat of the year.
The team is batting .412 on the day with 4 walks. They're 7 of 16 with runners on, 2 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Line to right. It is a grand slam for Northwestern, and Kate Renshin driving everyone home and increasing the lead to 13-0. That one had no chance of being brought back in. And an absolute masher to right. Pulling it for Kate Renshin.
How about a first at-bat in her collegiate career for the freshman? This is what dreams are made of. Taking a 13-0 lead in beautiful Tempe, Arizona for the Northwestern Wildcats. You have True Medina sticking in her batting position up next for the Wildcats. Going to have some big expectations to lead off of.
And it's just great to see the camaraderie of these teams. You know, everybody was so happy to see it was Grace Minorovic getting her first base hit, and then Kate Renshin with that grand slam for her first collegiate base hit. That's
absolutely incredible.
And now we move to True Medina, 1 for 2 today. Sticking on that left side, she is a switch hitter. She's 1 for 2 with a run scored. Singled in the first, flew out to center in the second.
Very rough sequence of events for Chavez. We were just talking about how she seemed to be one of the stronger arms in Memphis's
rotation.
Yes, and ended up, that was just her second hit that she's let up for the game. Of course, ended up being a grand slam after 2 Ks, the only Memphis pitcher to have more Ks than hits, and gets 2 strikeouts followed up by a grand slam with 2 outs.
That's now 2 home runs in the inning for this offense, and now a walk for True Medina. 4-0, and we get to see Abby Harvey step up to the plate.
Number 13, Abby Harvey.
Getting in some good reps for the power hitter, Harvey. I mean, of course, this whole Northwestern team is getting a bunch of valuable reps for their bench players, being up so early in the game and knowing how to extend this game. We're just an hour, the clock about to peak, 2:11 a.m., and we are still in the top of the third.
First pitch on the outer half of the zone. It'll catch the edge for strike 1. The 0-1, fouled back. And that one almost left the stadium, maybe only about 20, 30 feet away from us.
Now it's in view and sight.
As here comes an usher to get that one. 0-2 count, 2 down. 1 strike away from ending this disastrous inning. Fouled back once again. And a fan gets to go home with a souvenir. Oh, there's the usher.
Immediately. The ushers don't play any games here about getting those softballs back.
0-2 count. This one, fly ball. This one's not going to make it out of the infield. Almost a collision at short. As making the catch, it's Deanna Cunningham. And that'll end the inning. Jasmine Chavez collects all 3 outs. Allows a grand slam and 4 earned runs. Walked 2, did strike out 2. But we move to the bottom of the third. We get to likely see Emma Blay for 1 more inning.
I don't know why you wouldn't. She's had such a stellar start to this game. Of course, holding the Tigers to 0 through 2 innings. All the confidence being built off of the bats of Northwestern, or at least a towering amount of confidence as, yes, like you said, Blay is going to come into the circle and begin to warm up.
And Emma Blay so far, 1 fly out, 5 ground outs. And she's only, take a guess on how many pitches she's thrown.
Blay, I'm going to go ahead and say, well, she went 1, 2, 3 pitches total thrown. I'm going to say is just peaking around 12.
17.
Okay. I was giving her a bit too much credit, but she totally deserves it. Great start to this game. Great hold down for not only Northwestern, not only that defense, but the team as a whole.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, Memphis has over 100 total pitches. And
wow.
I'd say it's pretty good for your team when your offense is seeing 6 times as many pitches as your pitcher is throwing.
I think
so
that's
far.
quite an understatement, but totally. You had Stutz come in and throw 66. Duggar was retired after 10. Chavez, it'll be interesting to see if she stays in the game for top of the 4th for the Tigers, but has only pitched 16 so far.
And we'll move to the bottom of the 3rd, and we'll switch responsibilities. So, Ian King, are you making your play-by-play debut?
No, I believe I made my
yeah.
play-by-play debut on Friday for the Toledo game, but that game also got retired very early, assuming this one will end up going the same way.
If I was any college softball team and I saw Ian King was making the call, I'd know I'm going home early. And
I could say the same for Cash Money Versailles. Leading off from Memphis here, going to be Jasmine Mack. Smart, decisive catcher here for the Tigers. Blay on the first pitch, lined out to left. Going to be called a foul after Medina was signaling that she was going to make that throw to Robinson, but just got outside of the baseline for the 0-1 foul.
Jasmine Mack, yet to get a base hit so far this year, does have a 250 OPS, but that's likely from her 1 walk, no strikeouts.
Also important to note that we have not made our way through the Memphis batting order yet. This is Mack's first at-bat. We have Aubrey Williams and Paris Bernesi to follow up for their first at-bats of the day. Going to be a check swing called a ball. 1-1 count.
That is crazy that Northwestern is already their 3rd way through the lineup, and Memphis has, they're at their 7th batter.
At their 7th batter, I mean, what more could you expect from a 13-run performance from Northwestern? 3rd pitch, 2-1 count.
Jasmine Mack starting as a DH today, or actually she's starting at catcher, but transfer from George Mason, where she did catch and play DH quite a bit, 10 hits, 9 RBIs, 5 runs in 17 games.
Mack swing and a miss. Going to bring that count to a 2-2 even for the Tigers. Interesting to see. Doesn't look like Northwestern has made any changes to their defense, letting a bunch of young players get some reps in at-bat, but looking to keep that starting defense the same. The 2-2. Swung out. Medina with the throw to first. Robinson caught her for the first out of the bottom of the 3rd.
And what a throw. The sidearm action from True Medina and we've seen quite a bit of her over there in the hot corner, but she's feeling good and ready to dominate for this Northwestern squad. They went 30-20-1 last year, and with True Medina, that freshman, playing as well as she has today, as well as the rest of the lineup, I'd say the Cats are in very good shape.
Good decision-making at position putting there from very tenured coach Kate Drohan for the Wildcats, actually coaching in her 25th season alongside her sister for Northwestern. They've been in the building for a while. Safe to say they know what they're doing. First pitch of Aubrey Williams at bat is a ball on a 1-0 count. Blay takes the second. Drive out to the shortstop, over the shortstop to the left fielder. Williams going to make her way to first base.
And just like that, there goes the no-no for Emma Blay. Entering this game, she had only pitched 3 2/3 innings last year in 5 appearances, had a 7.34 ERA, an 0-1 record. She had 6 walks to 2 strikeouts. She definitely pitches to contact a little bit more, and that's been her strength today. But like you see there, it just laced over the shortstop's head.
Yeah, not a whole lot complaining you can do when you're in the bottom of the third up 13, and that is your first hit allowed of the day. Sad to see the no-hitter go, but definitely no short of confidence for Blay here. You do have Aubrey Williams up at first base as now Paris Bruness is making her way to finish off the Memphis batting order. 1-0 count for the Tigers. Off the right side, call the ball. 2-0 count. It'll be interesting to let the top of that very strong Tigers batting order come and restart the hitting for Memphis. Swing and a miss. Makes her way to second. Error by the second baseman. Williams makes her way over to third off the air from Northwestern, and now all of a sudden Memphis has a runner in scoring position. Bruness still at the bat. Williams able to convert off of 2 bases. Down 13-0, still a big smile on the face.
And that's the pitcher now playing catcher, Riley Grudzelanek, with the errant throw on the steal.
Just outside for the 3-1 count. Pretty nice sequence of events here for the Tigers. You're looking at, they corrected it to a 2-2 count now, but you have runner on third, 1 out. Even count here for Memphis. Blay to Bernesi. Swing over the shortstop, caught by the left fielder. Williams is going to make her way home for the first run of the game for the Tigers, down by 12 as Bruness advances to first. Renshin now playing at left field for Northwestern, was able to get that ball up, but just sailed over Bridget Donahue.
Austin Eckler picks up the first down, signals for it, still trailing 14-63.
Oh, you'll love to see it. I assume you were watching that game start to finish as any loyal fan would.
I was pretty tuned out that season. Easton Stick starting, that terrible O-line, Brandon Staley, don't get me started. That was a great next morning, though, when I opened up Instagram and saw that they had fired Telesco and Staley. And then Telesco signed with the Raiders. That was perfect.
After letting the Raiders put up 63, I don't blame them at all. Davis on the 1-0 count. Ball stays outside for a 2-0 count.
And as critical I am as of the Spanos family, especially growing up in San Diego and despising them for taking the Chargers away, but, the past couple of years, they've done a better job and, firing Staley, albeit a little too late.
Bernice is going to make her way over to second. She is caught. Memphis trying to get a little bit aggressive here, down by 12. It does not pay off. Burness is caught at second base.
And why not get aggressive? I mean, you're trailing 12 here in the bottom of the third. You are guaranteed 2 more innings of offense. But with how the pitching staff has performed today against this heavy-hitting Northwestern lineup, you got to get aggressive. Whether or not you think you can win, you got to get aggressive. You got to show that you care and that you want to win this game, whether or not it's out of reach.
Yeah, Burness was looking for that steal because the way Northwestern has their defense lined up, Grace Nito, the second baseman, and now being swapped out for McHugh, but the way their defense is set up is it looks almost like they have two shortstops instead of a second baseman. This one swung right to Blay. Toss to Robinson for the retirement. We go to the top of the fourth. Northwestern up 13-1 on the Memphis Tigers here in Tempe.
And the Tigers get on the board. That's pretty much all what they were asking for. Don't get no hit. Don't be on the wrong end of a perfect game, as Emma Blay also had that going. Don't get shut out. Pretty much in that order. Probably break up the perfect game, break up the no-hitter, break up the shutout.
With Memphis batting at the bottom of the inning, it looks like we are only going to have 2 half innings left, basically 1 full inning. Northwestern will go in top of the 5th, look to end this game early after just 4.5.
Now we'll get a full 5.
Oh yeah, you're right. My apologies.
You're good.
Checking to see if Memphis is making any changes up in the circle.
Looks like a single digit for Memphis. Might be Taniya Brown.
That's what I was thinking, but I couldn't tell. And
It
also,
will be Taniya Brown stepping into the circle for her first inning of work.
the starting designated player, as we discussed before the broadcast. I guess any position. She came in this game as the designated hitter in their lineup, but is allowed to play wherever she so pleases, as she has Bridget Donahue coming up to the plate.
Taniya Brown, 1 start. And I don't think anybody would like to have her ERA, considering she gave up 1 hit and 2 earned runs and collected 0 outs. And mathematically, that is an infinite ERA
Oh, wow.
for Taniya Brown as she searches for her first out in the circle.
Starting off nice with an 0-1 count, Donahue, 1 at-bat, 1 hit with an RBI.
Taniya Brown also 0 for 1 at the plate.
Swung over to the dugout for a foul, 0-2 count. Taniya Brown here on the favorable count. Still down by 12, but looking to keep a clean slate here for once in the top of the 4th. Brown serves. Seemed to be a little bit down for the 1-2.
Bridget Donahue, of course, the solo home run her last time up, the hit by pitch in the first.
Swung out to Northwestern's dugout. Another foul. So much power hitting here from the Wildcats seems to have Memphis's defense perplexed. They're keeping what seems to be a traditional lineup with that shortstop a little bit deeper. Now making their way back into the diamond, but seemed like recently they were keeping that shortstop outside or just near the edge of the dirt. The delivery swung out to right field. Donahue's going to make her way to first with no question about it.
Donahue now 2 for 2 on the day, of course, and on base and 3 straight at bats. She's looking really good at the plate. You know, that home run to left, the line drive there, very, very talented for Bridget Donahue, who entering this one, you know, in her career, 250 average, 17 home runs. We saw home run number 18 of her career. She's had 8 home runs and 20-plus RBIs in each of her last 2 seasons. And she's a Phoenix native, graduated from Xavier College Preparatory in Phoenix, Arizona. I bet it feels great for her to be back at the Kajikawa Classic, where surely she must have come to at least see 1 game.
Oh, you got to bet that Arizona State would have been recruiting such a prospect. I mean, Xavier, definitely one of the stronger athletic programs out of Arizona high schools as a whole. Don't know about softball particularly, but definitely one of the stronger histories all around, as now comes Tegan McHugh for her second at-bat of the game against Brown. Out to the right, going to be called a 1-0 ball for McHugh.
Professor Xavier's School for the Athletes.
Seems like all of these Northwestern athletes would have been born and raised there. Second pitch going to be outside once again. 2-0 for Northwestern. McHugh looking very comfortable in the box. Also 1-for-1 on the day. Looking to make it 2-for-2 and add to what is already a very strong all-around 9-20 batting day for Northwestern. Same position 3 times in a row. That one gets called a strike. Memphis continuing with the right-handed pitcher trend, so that ball seems to clip the right side of the box every time, whether it's in or out. The 2-1, a little bit too high on that right corner. Jasmine Mack, the catcher for the Tigers, signaled that she was going to throw for first, but Donahue stays put. McHugh lining up on the 3-1 favorable count here for the Northwestern hitter. Swung out right past the pitcher, picked up by the Memphis second baseman. Donahue advances to second. McHugh makes her way to first. As we have 2 runners on base, Northwestern still up 12.
And Taniya Brown has already given up 2 hits.
Seemed like a broken record, just continuing to say not the best start here for the Memphis pitcher.
And over the course of her career, 8-27 record, a 5.5 ERA. Batting, she's been pretty successful. 301, 3 home runs, 19 RBIs over her career, and averaged 340 last year. But she also pitched for a 5.37 ERA and a 4-7 record as a sophomore. As they're going to go to a mound visit here. Taniya
Brown already getting a mound visit. Interesting to see here. You have Avery Garden now coming up first at bat, a regular starter here for the Wildcats, at 34 last year as a freshman, now in her sophomore year. I believe has 3 starts on the year, now coming in off the bench for what would be her first at-bat of the day.
Yeah, Avery Garden batted 196, had 4 home runs, 12 RBIs as a freshman last year. Did have an OPS of 686, but definitely looking to get some more reps for these younger players, including the utility player Avery Garden, who's a sophomore, entering this one with a 364 average and an 819 OPS, has struck out 3 times, so that could possibly be an issue. Perhaps chasing too much, no walks. Maybe that's what the manager is looking to get here out of Avery Garden, maybe to see some more patience, less chasing, to hopefully translate that later down the line.
Definitely, when you have this so much extra time to get extra reps in for your people, focus on maybe their shortcoming space and try to improve it. Garden takes that first one. It's going to be called a strike for the 1-1 count here. Kaylee Avisado would be next up in the batting order. Instead, looks like Kate Dowden warming up. The 1-1 outside to make it 2-1. Interesting to see Bridget Donahue continuing to signal a run off of second base every time Garden looks to make contact with that ball. Delivered to the right side again. Two straight even count here for Northwestern.
Certainly an interesting strategy, trying to play out along the barrel against this lefty.
Swung out to the shortstop, delivered to second, going for the double play. Garden will make it to first base, but McHugh is retired, heading back to the dugout. Runners on third and first for the Wildcats.
Almost with the 6-4-3 there. Would have been an absolute beauty instead. Now runners on the corners with 1 out. And we get to see Kate Dowden for the first time today as on the year for Kate Dowden.
Looks like this might end up being her first at-bat of the season, although I am not sure.
It will be her first at-bat. Has also scored as a pinch runner. Or that's Kate Renshin.
Okay, I was about to say that would have been a trend for Northwestern pinch runners, but
But
this Dowden's
this
first?
is her first appearance all year.
Okay.
As a pinch runner now, or as a pinch hitter here, the latter.
Coming in for Avisado. Delivered swing and a miss to make it a 1-1 count here. Donahue on third, Garden on first. Dowden at the bat, first time of the year. You just have to continue to keep an eye on who's going to follow. Looks like Northwestern cycling all the way through their bench. Dowden lets that one go outside for a 2-1 count here.
And I believe they are allowed to bring players back in from the bench.
Okay.
That might just be pitchers, which I think the rule there is 3 outs.
The 2-1 delivered to the right side once again. Going to be called a 3-1 favorable count here for Dowden's first at-bat. And this is exactly where we were when we saw Northwestern hit a grand slam in the top of the third. Brown delivers a 3-1. Swing and a miss. Dowden making it a 3-2 count here.
And you like to see it. Take some hacks. You're up by 12. Runners on the corners. First at-bat of your career. No, probably not your career. She's a sophomore.
Another swing and a miss for Dowden. Her first at-bat of the season does not go like the rest. 2 outs for Memphis, looking to bring this in to the bottom of the fourth, for what would be their first scoreless inning of the game.
Right now, they got to get through Kylie Jensen, the freshman catcher, who I believe is now coming in for Gredzelanek.
What was Emma Ray's spot and then was Gredzelanik's spot is now looking to be another pinch hitter spot. You do have the starter Kansas Robinson ready to follow. The clean count is caught for a strike, 0-1 count for Memphis. Like you said, Kylie Jensen, the freshman catcher, at bat for the Wildcats. The 0-1 is swung in behind. Looks like it might have clipped Jensen in the process, but the count will go to 0-2 nonetheless. Favorable count here for Taniya Brown for what just seems like over and over again, only getting 1, maybe 2 favorable counts here for the Memphis pitchers. Brown delivers the 0-2. Dead center for the K as this inning is over. Memphis's first scoreless inning of the morning. 11:23 is your time in Tempe, as Memphis gets ready to take the bats here, down 13-1 in Alberta B. Farrington Stadium.
And a backwards reverse K for Taniya Brown. That's her second straight of the inning. Did have some trouble with the 2 hits, but overall a good performance. The first shutout inning for this Memphis pitching staff, is we were talking earlier about how Chavez was looking good, probably going to be one of their star pitchers, and then of course gave up the grand slam to Kate Renshin. But right there with Taniya Brown, who's historically not been the best option as a starter out of the pen for this for this Memphis squad, but she proves to be very capable, getting the Ks and, very aggressive, as we expected Memphis to be this late with this sizable deficit.
Yeah, I mean, something you love to see nonetheless is Taniya Brown did allow 2 hits, but still got 2 Ks, and on that second K to retire the top of the fourth, so much emotion, so much grit from her, just kind of chirping over at the batter and her own catcher, just a little bit of team chemistry still coming up when you are down 12 going into the bottom of the fourth. I think there's just this energy that radiates Tempe that increases sportsmanship and increases the tension of the game. Sure, you're here for the Kajikawa Classic, but you are still here to battle. You are still here to show off. And Taniya Brown, I think, at least still early to say, but having one of the stronger starts for the Memphis rotation.
Meanwhile, Emma Blay moving into her 4th inning of work. She's allowed 2 hits, 1 run, all of them in the last inning.
Very strong start for Blay. coming off, like we mentioned, her first start of the season. Now, left fielder Neely Taylor coming in at the second spot of the Memphis batting order, just her second at-bat of the day, as Northwestern is quickly able to cycle 1, 2, 3, get the inning over. Blay delivers the first just a little bit outside. 1-0 count for the Wildcats. It's interesting, I haven't seen a whole lot of softball before my time with Blaze, but I didn't know about the unique thing where the left-handed hitters come up and they take a few steps before they're about to swing. I forgot what the term is for that, but I actually wasn't too...
Slap hit.
Slap hit, yes, thank you. I wasn't too educated on that, but I think it's super entertaining to see them kind of lead off on that ball, keep their head in the game no matter what, keep every extremity of that body warm and moving.
Almost like a different type of drag bunt you see in
Yeah.
MLB.
The 2-0 count is swung directly to Blay, delivered to Robinson for the out. Northwestern doing great at this delivery so far, whether it's from pitcher to first baseman or third baseman to first baseman. Seems like the Wildcats are able to move all around the diamond so comfortably and just retire these hitters one after another, as now comes up Maya Clark.
And a great job of just handling that comebacker for Emma Ray. For Emma Blay. Emma Ray, the catcher, who's been substituted for the rest of the game.
Blay getting ready to deliver the 0-1 to Clark. Swing and a miss for the Tiger to make it an 0-2 count. 1 out here for Northwestern.
And of course, we mentioned Maya Clark in the box right now, a transfer from Iowa as a redshirt freshman. Pitched her sole appearance was as a pitcher, and once a hitter of the year at Athens High School in Ardmore, Alabama. But that time, it's Emma Blay coming out on top with her first strikeout of the year.
Yeah, swing and a miss there for Clark, right as you're talking about her powerful hitting. So, unfortunate turn of events as the Tigers once again are down 2 outs, no runners on base. Hope looking bleak for the Tigers. Blay getting ready to deliver on the clean count to Taniya Brown, who was just in at pitcher, now in for her second at-bat of the game. First ball just outside for the 1-0. Blay setting up to deliver again. The battle of the pitchers.
Grounded out to third her last time out. She takes that one away for strike 1 to even things back up. She's looking to lift this one and get her first hit of the game.
Blay sets up on the 1-1. Just under, bobbled by the catcher. Gets outside, but of course no runners on base to do anything about it. So Brown stays in the box on the 2-1 count. Looks like Northwestern coach Kate Drohan's going to get her own little souvenir, bringing that back to the dugout. Swing and looked like it clipped the bat of Taniya Brown to make it a 2-2 even count here. 2 outs, bottom of the 4th. Memphis so far batting 2 of 12 on the day. Brown looking to not only save the inning, but up that number. As it swung out to the second baseman, delivered to first, and this inning is over. 13-1 your score moving into the top of the 5th for Northwestern.
And 1, 2, 3, down go the Tigers. It's looking bleak as the team is, I think that's now 2 for 13 on the day batting, following a day where they played really well against Texas State. They went 11 of 26. Taniya Brown was 2 for 4 with a home run and 3 RBIs. Kennedy Semien was 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs herself, a double as well. It's just the pitching staff couldn't hold it down. You know, Taylor Catone, 5 earned runs in the first inning. She was immediately pulled. Avery Stutz and Jasmine Chavez, they struck out 6. while allowing 8 runs on 10 hits in the last 5 innings. Meanwhile, Northwestern, when they faced that star-studded ASU lineup and one of the best ace pitchers in college softball, Kenzie Brown, they struck out 12 times, and the only hits were from Grace Nito and Emma Ray. And now the Northwestern lineup, who we get to see for a 5th and likely final time today, they're 10 of 24. They've been walked 5 times. They've struck out 5 times, sure, but they've been phenomenal with batting, and especially with runners on. They just keep tacking it on, and what really stands out to me is how good they've been with 2 outs. They're 2 for 6 with 2 outs today.
I believe that grand slam earlier in the top of the 3rd did also come off of a 2-out count. I might be wrong, but if my mind isn't doing tricks on me, I don't know if you can recall.
I believe it was.
I believe we're able to check on that as well. But, of course, Northwestern cycling through their bench, but starting first baseman Kansas Robinson getting ready.
It was a 2-out grand slam.
So,
off
yeah,
of a
just
3-1 count.
Incredible power offense here from the Wildcats, able to always, I mean, of course, they've had something all day, but even when it looks like they're going to come up with nothing, they can always turn it into their own course of action. So now we have Robinson getting ready to come up at bat, her 3rd at bat of the day, coming up with 1 hit, 3 RBIs. Robinson setting up against Brown for the clean count. Top of the 5th here in Tempe, 11:31 is your time. I would love to know what the temperature is, because this breeze along with this sun is making for a beautiful day of softball. What's going to be a beautiful day of softball in what is going to be the final day of the Kajikawa Classic, I'm assuming, moving into the week.
It is the last day of the Kajikawa Classic. Thank you again, Connor Aggers. It is currently 76 degrees.
Where else would you rather be? Teams coming up from the Midwest. We've had, like I said, Toledo here, now Memphis and Northwestern coming up from Ohio, Illinois. Where else would you rather be than beautiful Tempe to start off your softball season, whether it goes good or bad? You come away from Tempe with good vibes, good memories, hopefully a little bit of increased team chemistry. Try to rebound from this game when you go back home if you're Memphis.
Yeah, call me mean all you want, but I don't think Memphis is going to come away with this with happy thoughts.
So all you can hope for is Robinson drives this one out to left. It is caught. 1 out for the Tigers. Taniya Brown keeping her slate the cleanest of the pitchers so far, but the bar is unfortunately pretty low on that end for the Tigers.
And Memphis does have one more game after this. They play against Arizona State. Calling that game will be Dimitri Kurlik and Tyler Wargo. So make sure to stay tuned for that one. First pitch will be at 12:45 Mountain Standard Time. That'll be 3:45 Eastern. No, that'll be 2:45 Eastern.
Yes. Renshin now up at bat. Her 2nd of the day for Northwestern. It'll be interesting to see. It seems like there's just different levels all around NCAA softball. Renshin lets this one go outside for the 2-0. But, I mean, on Friday, you saw Northwestern mercy rule their own, an opponent of their own, Toledo. And then they come in against Arizona State yesterday and get mercy ruled by Arizona State. So now Northwestern are going to look to retire Memphis early. Renshin swings this one out to left field. It's inside the foul line. Left fielder cannot get there in time. Renshin is rounding the bases, making her way to 3rd, signaling to home, and she is going to get there for the inside the park home run. 14-1. Wildcats is your score in Tempe.
And what an electric start to the career of Kate Renshin. You see the speed there. We saw the power in the last at-bat. She is 2 for 2 with 2 home runs to get things started, feeling like she's playing MLB The Show on rookie mode.
And now you have another freshman, True Medina, the high school power hitter, coming up to bat. One gets caught inside from Medina on the 0-1 count. I feel like we're going to drift by that inside of the park home run a little too quickly because of how fast these games are paced, but just wow, what incredible decision-making by the third base coach of Northwestern to signal the runner to make her rounds home. Beautiful play there by Kate Renshin. Count is even at 1. Medina clipped off of the bat. Going to be called a foul to make the count 1-2 here for Northwestern. This now means that Memphis is going to have to score, I believe it is 6 runs in the bottom of the 5th if they want to keep this game going. Swing and a miss for Medina as she is retired. 3 Ks on the day for Taniya Brown, the 4th relief pitcher for Memphis so far in this game. Next comes Abby Harvey, the grad student from Illinois Wesleyan.
Abby Harvey so far 0 for 2 with a walk. She's flown out to center and popped up to the pitcher as the first pitch there is a strike.
Looks to me like Bridget Donahue will stay at the bottom of the order for the Wildcats. Brown delivers the 0-1, swung right over to Donahue. This will be called 0-2, favorable count here for Brown, who's looking at no balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Was able to come up with a scoreless inning top of the 4th, looking to make it a 1-score inning top of the 5th. Keep this lead, or this mercy roll lead, as close as can be. Swung on by Harvey, delivered to first, and that is your top of the 5th. Memphis able to escape with just 1 run. Compared to the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, where they allowed a combined 13. The last 2 for Memphis have combined for just 1. Unfortunately, getting their defense and getting their pitching going just a little bit too late for the Tigers, but Memphis going to come out at the bat and hope to keep this game alive with everything that they have.
Absolutely, and Taniya Brown has done. We talked about how Stutz she did a good job of holding things down after the terrible start for Riley Duger, and then things just sort of cascaded to an even worse standard. But Taniya Brown has been a really bright spot in that pitching rotation that their manager can really rely on in the coming games, in the coming months, as Emma Blay will move into her 5th and likely final inning of work.
How about that, to go a full game of softball? Whether it ends early or it goes the full 7, going a full game is still a nice feat. It shows that your coaches have a lot of trust in you, but most of all speaks volumes to the performance that you put on. Like you said, Taniya Brown having what is the best day for Memphis on the pitching front, but also important to note that before this game, of course, she's, I believe, 0 for 2 at bat today. Memphis hasn't been able to make their way through the batting order, but Brown coming into this game was 3 for 5 on hits, coming in at a 600 batting average, again, early in the season, but you take those numbers where you can get them. 1.2 slugging. One of the best hitters also so far this season for Memphis, looking to be one of the brightest spots in their lineup as a whole.
Yeah, and frankly, Emma Blay deserves to be out there still. Like, only 2 hits allowed. She's gone 1, 2, 3 in 3 of her 4 innings pitched. Only 1 strikeout, but we mentioned she pitches to contact, and that's what really allows her to keep her pitch count so low. She's at 42 pitches so far through 4 innings. That's 10.5 per. That's a really good pace, not only for your health during the game, but as the season goes on.
When you have such strong arms at third base and shortstop, and you have such a reliable catch there in Robinson at first, this ball is going to get swung over to right field, delivered to second, as Kennedy Semien is going to get on to first. Her first hit of the day, and just the 3rd hit of the day for the Tigers. But to finish my statement from earlier, you have such strong and decisive arms inside the diamond. Blay definitely does pitch for contact because she's confident that if it can roll on the ground, that ball is going to be called out no matter where it goes.
Absolutely.
The clean count called 1-0. Deanna Cunningham now add in her 2nd at-bat of the morning, about to transition to the afternoon.
Flew out to right her last time out.
Blade delivers just a little bit too high for the 2-0, her 44th pitch of the day in this bottom of the 5th. Blaze only her 3rd hit today, allowed by Semien, who advanced her way to first. Delivers the 2-0. Once again, a little bit too high to make it a 3-0 favorable count here for Deanna Cunningham.
Cunningham likely gonna, actually, I was gonna say likely gonna lay off here on the 3-0. You know, unwritten rules and all that, and it's also just smart, but trailing by 13, why not take a hack?
Which she does not. Deliver to what seemed to be the top right corner, called a strike by our umpire, Shane Jackson, but right behind home plate. 3-1.
Tell you what, Angel Hernandez should look up to Shane Jackson because he's been doing a really good job behind the plate today, calling balls and strikes. That one, ball 4, and that'll be a walk for Semien Kennedy. She gets on base for the first time today. And the first mound visit of the day for Northwestern to come is Emma Blay has now allowed a hit and a walk here in the bottom of the 5th, as they'll probably want to.
I'm hoping they're just having conversations. I don't think there's any reason to take Blay out this game. She has still pitched under 50 total pitches this game. Sure, you have runners on 2nd and 3rd, but you've only allowed 3 hits through what's going to be 5 innings. I just don't see any reason to take Blay out here. Let her finish the game strong. Let her get her full game.
And it looks like they're going to leave her out there.
Good decision by Kate Drohan, in my humble opinion.
And of course, some options they have out of the bullpen are Renee Cunningham and Riley Gredzelanek, who we've seen play catcher today. Could also go to Marina Mason, who played pretty well.
We've even
yesterday.
seen Gredzelanek get in an at-bat today, her 2nd of the season.
Marina Mason, of course, coming off of a start yesterday. 1 earned run in 4 innings pitched, and then things cascaded when Gredzelanek and Renee Cunningham came in as relievers. They combined for 5 outs, allowing 7 runs in the what would be a mercy rule loss to Arizona State. Emma Blay looking to get out of the trouble here in the bottom of the 5th with 2 on.
The 1-1's delivered right over to the second baseman. Going to be called an error there for the Wildcats. Bridget Donahue allows a Tiger to get home. Runners now on 1st and 3rd for Memphis. I believe that was Kennedy Semien in there with the run to make it 14-2. 1 score apiece now in both the bottom and the top of the 5th. Just Blay's 2nd allowed run of the day.
Now batting number 18, Aubrey Williams.
Aubrey Williams now up to bat to follow up the Tigers' 2nd score of the day. Blay, of course, staying in the game regardless of that score. Still a very strong performance for the Wildcats. Runners on 1st and 3rd. The count is clean. First pitch going to be delivered just a little bit low for the 1-0 count for Blay. Now facing Aubrey Williams, who is one of the Tigers today who has come up with a successful hit. Looking to add to another and add to this score. Blay delivers a little bit too low, and the runner on 3rd base is going to make her way home. Deanna Cunningham with a run to make this score 14-3, and suddenly, Cash, the Tigers have scored 2 in this bottom of the 5th. The score now 14-3, a long way to go to avoid the mercy rule, but some positive progress here from the Tigers for what seems to be the first time today.
Exactly, and another mound visit for Northwestern as things have really gotten away from Emma Blay, now 2 earned runs since the last mound visit, but once again, going to leave Blay out there, and why not? You've got an 11-run lead. You've got 3 runs to work with to maintain the mercy rule as we resume with the 0-2 count.
Williams still up at the bat, runner on second, swung right over the center field. Runner's going to be... Ball is bobbled at home plate. Memphis runner is going to make her way home to make it a 14-4 count. Aubrey Williams finally able to come up with a run on her at-bat. Now at second base, as Memphis is able to shorten the lead to 10.
I believe that's Emma Ray in center with an absolute hose. Actually,
unfortunate error there for Emma Ray, able to allow the Tigers to add to their lead. And I don't know if momentum is a good word to use when you're down 10, but it is defined as any sort of swinging force looking to go your way.
But I believe that is Emma Ray in center with an absolute cannon of a throw. Perfect throw to the plate. But the bobble from the catcher.
First ball inside for the 0-1 count. Second pitch, a little bit too high. Make the count even. Why don't you at 1-1? Blay continuing to stay composed in the circle. Getting ready to deliver the 1-1. Swung over to the third baseman. Medina delivers to Robinson. They are caught, trying to get it to third base. Third base runner is called safe, but that is your first out of this bottom of the 5th. Memphis able to get 3 onto the board before Northwestern's able to get their first out.
Still a very, very dominant performance from Emma Blay. Unsure if they're going to look to go to the pen here.
Another meeting here for the Wildcats.
Although they very well could just be adjusting stats and rulings. As they will be making a pitching change.
Blay getting loud applause here from what seems to be a pretty packed Northwestern crowd. This whole weekend here, anytime Northwestern has played at Alberta v. Farrington, the Cats fans come out and show out.
And out there it's Signy Dose, the redshirt sophomore. 1-0 record, 7 innings pitched. She's got a 0 ERA and a 2.14 average against. Now, this will be a nice change of pace for the pitching rotation for Northwestern. She does not pitch to contact. She's got 7 strikeouts, 2 walks so far in her 7 innings. And she's looking to dominate here and pitch with absolute command and no mercy.
Definitely a good way to kind of reverse the game plan for what seems to be a rebounding Tigers team. Switch up the game plan, switch up the main idea from your pitcher here. Try to put a stop to this comeback. I believe the Tigers are just 2 runs short from having this game continue into the top of the 6th, which we honestly didn't think was going to be possible. Leaving the top of the 3rd, the Wildcats were up on a clean slate 13-0 entering bottom of the 3rd. Now all of a sudden, it's 14-4, the Tigers fighting for any sign of life they can gather.
No, both sides have really followed the pattern of whoever is doing play-by-play. They've got the momentum. You know, when I was doing play-by-play, it was all Northwestern, and now that you're on play-by-play, Memphis taking control.
Taking a little bit of control back.
Still trailing by 10. They need to score 3 more runs.
3 more, my apologies.
In order to get away from the mercy rule. If they only score 2, it'll still be a mercy.
Ariel Davis on the first pitch, right inside for the 0-1 count. Davis, definitely Memphis' strongest batter. Of course, hasn't had a very strong performance this game, as has Memphis' entire batting rotation, but the aforementioned .700 coming into this game. She delivers a pop fly bunt that gets behind the net into the stands, make the count 0-2. Not the best start for Davis. Now a very favorable count here for Signy Dose. Runner on third for the Tigers cannot be forgotten. Davis really needs to drive this runner inside. Dose delivers a little bit too high for the catcher, as another error from Emma Ray for the Wildcats allows a run for the Tigers, who now make it 14-5.
And it's getting away from Northwestern here late.
Davis continuing to stay composed at the plate, believing she still has the game in her hands. Delivered on the 1-2. Bless you, that ball's hit high up to the center fielder. Caught by the right fielder for Northwestern to bring it to 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. Sorry, top of the 6th. No, yeah, bottom of the 5th.
Now batting number 6.
And Ariel Davis, 1 home run in her career, or coming off a year with 1 home run, almost looked like, I believe, her first of the year there. It would have been, but it sort of just dies in right center. And just like that, we are 1 out away from a Mercy Rule finish and a second Mercy Rule win for Northwestern.
I mean, we talked in the beginning of the game about how strong the top of the batting order has to be here for the Tigers, and now you're in here with Neely Taylor at bat, who delivers one outside of the foul line to make it a 1-2 count. But if Neely Taylor somehow is able to escape this, then you have Maya Clark coming in, who we mentioned Ariel Davis's .700 batting average coming into this game. Maya Clark entered this game with a .800. So pretty strong start to the season. Of course, those numbers are going to fluctuate as it goes. But Neely Taylor here, the left fielder, swings it right over to the shortstop, who catches it. Doesn't let it escape the diamond, and that is your game. Northwestern 14, Memphis 5 is your final score here in Tempe for the Kajikawa Classic.
And a fantastic and dominant showing for Northwestern. Of course, Emma Blaze going to come away with the win. The loss, as we mentioned earlier in the game, it's going to be Riley Duger. Failed to get a single out, but 14-5 the final at Farrington, as ASU and Memphis gear up to battle in the final game in day 4 of the Kajikawa Classic. Of course, stay tuned as Tyler Wargo and Dimitri Kurlik take over on Blaze Radio Online, but just a dominant performance from Northwestern as they get to go home, coming away with 3 out of their 5, 2 of them by way of Mercy Rule.
I do always like to ask at the end of a broadcast, Cash. I know we got to relinquish our duties over here to Dimitri and Tyler, but if you had to pick a player of the game, obviously for the winning Wildcats, who would you choose?
It's got to be Kate Renshin.
I totally agree.
Obviously, Emma Blay, 4 1/3, dominant performance. You know, got away from her at the end.
Obviously, yeah, the Cats don't get a Mercy Rule here without Blaze's incredible performance, but the slam from Renshin allowed the Cats to take such a lead in the first place.
Kate Renshin, 2 for 2 with 2 home runs, 5 total RBIs. Just a fantastic performance as a pinch hitter. Definitely got to consider seeing Kate Renshin in her first 2 at-bats hit 2 home runs, one of them a grand slam. It's got to be, you got to consider having Kate Renshin have more impact in the lineup and a larger presence in this team's roster. That's all from us. I'm Cash Money Versailles. With me, Ian King, and all of us at Blaze Radio. Thank you for tuning in, and stay tuned for ASU Memphis softball and the finale to the Kajikawa Classic on Blaze Radio Online.